Hi, thank you for joining me. Hope you've had a good week and all is well. So, I'm going to pick up where we left off. Alan had gone to a party with a friend and he had ran into Debbie there. I'm just saying. But, so I wouldn't say I'm really a stone collector, but I do like stones, so I do tend to gather them and pick them up in places I go. I just have two of them here on my desk. They kind of keep me company while I'm working. So, let's get started. So Alan had started talking to his cousin Dave, and I was laughing my ass off. He said, at something he had just told me when someone asked me to dance. I looked to my side only to see Debbie. I asked her what she was doing here. She said her cousin had heard about the party, so they stopped in for a few minutes. I took her by the shoulder and guided her to the dance area. We were still dancing when Debbie's cousin came to tell her to come on. It was time to leave. Before she left, she asked me to call her. I told her I might. She was like, come on, call me when you get a chance. So I finally told her I would. Then she gave me a kiss on my lips and made sure I had her number, and then she left. Now, I do admit she crossed my mind again that night. I even kind of wish she was still here. I did as I planned about not staying all night, and I was home by about 1:30 in the morning, which wasn't bad. I hadn't left home till about 9:30. The week passed and I thought of calling Debbie, but I knew I shouldn't, so I didn't. Months passed, and one day Trina and the baby had gone to visit her mother for the weekend. I was sitting around the house, taking it easy, watching a good monster movie, when I decided it was time to give her a call. Taz was watching TV with me, so I went upstairs to use the phone. Debbie answered the telephone and sounded surprised to hear from me. It took you long enough to call. I didn't think I'd hear from you, she said. Yeah, I know. I've thought about calling, but you know how it is, I said to her. We talked for a while. She wanted to know where I was calling her from. I told her home. She says, oh, I take it your wife's not home then. No, she's away for the weekend, I told her. If you get too lonely, let me know, she said. I told her I'd keep that in mind, then ended our conversation. I did keep it in mind, but I didn't get too lonely. My little sister was good company. She always came in the house every so often while she was outside playing, and she liked watching scary movies with me. So I was pretty content with her companionship. It was going on 10 o'clock when Mommy called out her back door for Taz to come on in the house. She gave me a good night kiss and ran out the door to Mommy. I continued laying on the sofa, watching TV and snacking half the night until I went to bed. Sunday afternoon, Trina called for me to pick her and little Alan up from the train station. I stopped folding my laundry and went to pick them up. On the way back home, Trina asked, what were you doing when I called? I looked at Trina real serious and said, I was folding laundry, and you know how I hate to be disturbed when I'm folding clothes. She looked at me like, yeah, right, and fell out laughing. So now with Marie. Well, things were going fine for everybody. Paula was excited because her and Junie were going to start trying to have a baby soon. She said she's getting all the practice she can get before they started working on the real thing. Ooh, well, you know what she means. For my excitement, I was getting a new living room set, and it was bad. Brown and gold. A brown fuzzy sofa bed with a gold wavy lounge chair, and the tables were glass. Oh, yeah. The big dark gold glass lamps, like the color of dark beer or ale. My pad was going to be so nice. You know what? Let me clean these glasses. Maybe that will help me to see a little better. You think I would have done this before I started. But I think I didn't realize how dirty the glasses were before I started to try to read. Oh yeah, now I can see. So, so Marie was talking, and she was talking about the new furniture she was getting and how her pad was going to be looking so nice. I gave the old living room set to a neighbor. My brother Junie always said, one man's trash is another man's treasure. Junie and Alan have also told me not to worry about me and Mike or any other man, because when one bus leaves, another will be by in about 20 minutes. And the other saying went, if one won't, another one will. So here I am waiting for another bus, or the one that will. But in the meantime, I wasn't holding my breath. For now, I figured I would just date, but absolutely no going steady. I needed my time to study for school and take care of Monica and myself. School was getting tougher. We were getting into chemicals and mixing chemicals. Each day after school, I'd get Monica and go home and study. I really did enjoy cosmetology. As usual, time was passing fast, and I was getting closer to taking my state board test for cosmetology. At this time, my parents owned three houses. They rented out 2 houses to my brothers with their families. Trina and Alan had moved into one house our parents owned, which was behind our parents' house. Paula and Junie were living in the old house we'd grown up in. Anyway, one weekend, Trina's father came to visit her. He considered himself to be a playboy. He was a little older and, yes, handsome, really nice looking. Even seemed like a fun and nice guy. We all had a good time, of course. We had cooked out, and our neighbor next door and her daughter and my neighbor's boyfriend came over to cook out with us, as usual. My mother used to work with our neighbor. All of us were very close. We were like extended family. Anyway, that night, Marvin, that's her dad's name. Anyway, that night, Marvin wanted to go out. He heard so much about this area. So he asked me to go with him. I didn't think anything of it and was like, yeah, that sounds good. So he took me to my place to shower and change clothes. And then we were off. We went to the bar right down the highway from my folks. It was jumping. After this, we went to another spot where the Ohio players were performing. We really had a nice time. I finally had him drop me off home around 4 that morning. Sunday afternoon, I went over to my parents' house as usual, and he was there talking to them. He thanked me for such a nice time. I told him maybe we could do it again if he comes down this way. He played it cool, never gave a hint that he was interested in me. Trina, Alan, and the baby came over, and we all hung out. Marvin was getting ready now to head back to Massachusetts, putting on all his bad rags back in the trunk of his brand new white Cadillac. Then he asked me for my number. I was like, fine, yeah, here you go. Still not thinking he was interested in me. He's just a fun guy to hang out with. Then, as I handed him my telephone number, he laid this smooth line on me and invited me up to Massachusetts anytime. If you don't have a way up there, let me know and I'll make arrangements for you, he said. But he was sincere about making arrangements, I could tell. And I just left it at that. I would have to talk to Trina about him and see what he was about first. A few days had passed when Trina brought up the fact that her father asked about me. She asked me, was I interested in him at all? I couldn't lie. He was attractive and well groomed and had tailored clothes. You know, you can tell when somebody really takes care of themselves. As she went on telling me about her father, I couldn't believe some of the things I was hearing about him. Things like he was not the best father, they weren't really close, he had a big, beautiful home in Massachusetts, he takes good care of himself, and yes, all the gold and diamonds on him are real. And then she told me the way he afforded all these things. Sorry I interrupted. I saw a message come in. Well, his house is really big. Part of the house he uses to run as a whorehouse. As he would tell you, it's not a whorehouse, it's an escort service. I was like, stop it. Really? She was like, I'm serious about everything I just told you. After hearing his story from Trina, he came to visit a few more times. Then, can you believe, I started dating him? Not seriously, but he was an intelligent, worldly, handsome man that knew how to treat a lady and enjoyed doing so. Whenever he came down to visit, we'd go out to the clubs, expensive restaurants, Atlantic City, go see stage shows, concerts. They have very nice hotels. Not that he was trying to impress me. He was accustomed to these types of things, and I could tell. He used to travel between Maryland, we used to travel between Maryland and New York often, just visiting people and having a good time. As time went on, he kept asking me when was I coming to visit him. So after a while, I gave in and agreed to check him out up there in a few weeks. That Friday night on Interstate 95 North, headed for his place, we stopped along the way for lunch at some quaint little restaurant that overlooked the Hudson River. I swear this man knew some nice spots to go to. From there, we continued on to his crib, as he called it. After we got into Boston, on the tree-lined street, he started to slow his big caddy up and turn into his driveway that led to a gorgeous house that had a flowered lawn, and it looked like it was professionally taken care of. Oh, Marvin, your home is really pretty, I told him. Well, come on in and make yourself comfortable. Let me know if there's anything you want. If it's not here, we'll get it, he said, then came around to open my car door. He always did that. My brother Junie always opened doors for Wynn also. He opened the trunk to get my luggage out, and we went inside. Well, the inside was nicer than the outside. Thick plush carpet, covered the floors. A huge fireplace greeted me as we walked into the den, and there was also one in the living room. The furniture, you had to see it for yourself. It was heavy quality furniture. The kind of furniture that if you get tired of it after years from now, you could give it away and it would still be in great shape. There was a door he told me not to go in. I thought about what Trina had told me about what he did with part of the house. And I thought, that must be that part of the house. I just told him, no problem. Even if you didn't want me to be comfortable, this place just makes you feel relaxed. And so I did. There was a huge sloped chair, lounge chair, placed near the window. So I took the drink he had mixed for me, and I went and laid back on the chair, gazing out the window every now and then. While we talked, he had put on some Marvin Gaye in the background. After about an hour of laughing and talking, he excused himself for about an hour and a half. He said he had some business to take care of. He could probably see I needed a little nap from the look in my eyes and my face. So while he was gone, I took a nap. It was a short nap, refreshing, and I needed it. I guess I was sleeping so good, he let me sleep for an extra half hour. After I woke up, I admit I was kind of on the hungry side when Marvin asked me if I was ready to eat. I wanted to grab him by the neck and scream, yes, for Christ's sakes, please, let's eat. But instead I answered with, yes, I actually am. What do you want for dinner? Let me tell you, this man had done his thing. He had cooked dinner while I was sleeping. He'd steamed some lobsters, baked potatoes, and made a great looking salad and a strawberry shortcake for dessert. Do you think I could have gotten used to this? Well, yes, I could get used to this. So we're going to stop there. But again, I thank you for joining me. I hope you have a great weekend. I hope you have a good week. And I hope you have the notion to subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. And again, I thank you. I wish you well, good vibes, and good energy. Peace.